sadness and depression, grieving the loss of a career. Job loss can also trigger deep feelings of sadness or even depression. If your job was a significant part of your identity, its loss can feel like the loss of a part of yourself. Grief is a natural response to any form of loss, and losing a job can trigger stages of mourning, especially if you had long-term plans tied to that job. Why it happens, depression and sadness often stem from feelings of loss, whether it's the loss of purpose, income, or social connections. Losing a job can leave you questioning your worth and feeling disconnected from your previous life. Actionable steps to manage sadness and depression. Allow yourself to grieve. Don't rush through the grieving process. It's okay to feel sad, frustrated, or even hopeless. Give yourself permission to feel these emotions without judgment. Example, if your job loss affects your sense of purpose, it's important to recognize that it's okay to feel sorrow. Take the time you need to mourn the loss of that chapter in your life. Actionable step, create space for grieving. Whether it's through journaling, talking to a therapist, or simply sitting quietly with your emotions. Allow yourself time to process the loss without rushing to move on. Reach out for support if you're feeling deeply depressed or unable to manage your emotions on your own. It's crucial to seek professional help. A counselor or therapist can help you navigate this challenging period. Example, if feelings of sadness begin to affect your daily life, it's important to talk to a mental health professional who can help you manage these feelings in a constructive way. Actionable step, find a therapist or support group specializing in career transitions or emotional recovery from job loss. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, can be particularly effective in changing negative thought patterns. Engage in small acts of self-care. When feeling down, self-care is crucial. It can be easy to fall into a rut and neglect your well-being. However, even small acts of self-care can help lift your mood and provide a sense of accomplishment. Example, go for a walk in nature, take a warm bath, or start a new hobby to distract yourself and bring joy back into your life. Actionable step, create a self-care checklist. Include things that bring you comfort, such as reading a book, taking a yoga class, or simply spending time with friends or family. Understanding the power of reflection and self-awareness, while the emotions experienced during job loss can feel overwhelming, they also offer an opportunity for deep self-reflection and self-awareness. By understanding your emotional responses and being proactive in addressing them, you can emerge stronger, more focused, and more prepared for the future. Actionable steps to gain self-awareness. Reflect on your core values. Job loss can provide clarity on what truly matters to you. Use this time to reflect on your values, goals, and passions. Example, if you realize that your previous job didn't align with your values, consider pursuing a career that reflects your true passions and skills. Actionable step, create a list of your core values and long-term career aspirations. This will help guide your job search and ensure that you're pursuing roles that align with your true self. By understanding these emotions and implementing practical steps to manage them, you can navigate the emotional impact of job loss with resilience and clarity. With time and action, you'll not only recover from the setback, but you will be well equipped to move forward into a more fulfilling and successful future. What you may feel shock and disbelief. Losing a job can feel like being thrown into a whirlwind of emotions. The first reaction most people experience is shock and disbelief. The suddenness of job loss can be overwhelming, especially if it comes as a complete surprise. In this state, you might feel as though the world is spinning around you. If you were blindsided by the loss, whether through an unexpected layoff or a sudden firing, it can be incredibly difficult to process in the moment. The feeling of shock is often described as being in a fog, as if you're disconnected from the situation. Your brain and body might not be prepared to handle the emotional intensity of this event, leading you to feel numb, confused, or detached. It can feel like everything you thought you knew has just shifted under your feet, and you can't quite catch up with what's happening. This is a normal emotional response to a significant loss, and it's important to allow yourself the time and space to experience it fully. By acknowledging that you are in shock and giving yourself permission to feel this way, you can begin to move through it more effectively. Let's dive deeper into why shock and disbelief occur, how they impact your emotional state, and actionable steps to process and move through these feelings in a healthy way. The psychological impact of shock and disbelief. Why it happens. Shock and disbelief often occur when an event happens suddenly, without warning or preparation. When you've been laid off or fired unexpectedly, the feeling can be like a punch to the gut. The emotional response is a natural defense mechanism. Your mind and body go into survival mode and try to protect you from the overwhelming nature of the news. It's almost as though your brain isn't ready to accept that the situation is real, so it temporarily shuts down in an attempt to keep you from experiencing the full weight of the loss. If you were particularly attached to your job, whether due to your identity, financial security, or long-term career plans, the blow can be even harder. The shock can compound, making it harder to process your emotions clearly. Physical symptoms of shock. Numbness. You might feel like you're floating outside of your body, disconnected from what's happening. Difficulty concentrating. Your mind might feel foggy, and you may struggle to think clearly about what to do next. Increased heart rate or shallow breathing. The stress of job loss can trigger physical reactions, such as a racing heart or difficulty breathing. Tingling or shaking. Your body might react with physical sensations like a dry mouth or the sensation of your body trembling. Actionable steps to navigate shock and disbelief. Acknowledge and accept your initial reaction. When you first receive the news, it's crucial to understand that shock is a natural emotional reaction. Don't try to push through it immediately or suppress your feelings. It's important to give yourself permission to feel disoriented or numb. Trying to rationalize or overthink the situation during this phase will only add to the confusion. Example, if you've just been told that your position has been eliminated and you're in a state of disbelief, take a moment to sit with the news. Don't rush into an immediate response. Actionable step. Find a quiet space where you can process the information. Take a few deep breaths to calm your mind and remind yourself that it's okay to feel shocked. This will help prevent the emotional reaction from escalating. Create mental space for processing. When you're in shock, your brain may be on overload, trying to make sense of everything that just happened. Allow yourself to step away from the situation to collect your thoughts. Give yourself mental space to absorb the information without pressure to immediately jump into action. Example, after being laid off, you might feel an urge to call your boss or contact colleagues for more details. Instead, take a break from the immediate stress and allow yourself time to reflect on the situation. Actionable step, take a 15 to 30-minute break after receiving the news. Use this time to go for a walk, meditate, or simply breathe deeply. This helps to reset your emotional state before you take further steps. Talk about what happened. Although it may feel hard to articulate your thoughts, talking through the situation with someone you trust can help you process the shock. Speaking about what happened allows you to externalize your feelings and start to make sense of them. It can also help reduce the overwhelming nature of the experience, making it feel more manageable. Example, if you're feeling completely blindsided, call a close friend, family member, or colleague to discuss your feelings. They may offer a perspective that helps you see the situation more clearly, or simply provide the emotional support you need. Actionable steps. Set up a conversation with someone you trust, whether a friend, mentor, or spouse who can listen and support you. Allow yourself to express the shock and confusion you're feeling, even if it feels disjointed. Write down your thoughts and feelings. Journaling is an effective tool for managing shock. When your mind feels foggy, writing can help you make sense of your emotions and bring clarity. Writing is a safe, private way to express yourself without fear of judgment, and it can help organize your thoughts. Example, after hearing the news, you may be flooded with a multitude of thoughts, concerns about finances, worries about your future, or even just questions like, why me? Journaling gives you a chance to untangle these thoughts. Actionable steps. Set aside 10 to 15 minutes each day for journaling. Write down what you're feeling, whether it's confusion, anger, sadness, or disbelief. This practice can also serve as a record of your emotional journey, allowing you to track your progress over time. Emotional disengagement, feeling detached from reality. Why it happens? In the midst of shock and disbelief, many people feel emotionally detached from the situation. This emotional disengagement can create a feeling of being in a dream or out of body. You may feel like the situation doesn't apply to you or that it's happening to someone else. It's as if you can't fully absorb the gravity of what just happened. This sense of detachment is a coping mechanism that helps your brain manage overwhelming emotions. While it's a temporary response, prolonged disengagement can lead to avoidance, making it harder to process the situation fully. Actionable steps to address emotional disengagement.